Next on the March 2nd edition of Carolina Week.
Campus and community leaders unite after news of a hate crime.
We'll have the assaulted students' first public comments.
And student government leaders look back and take a look at what lies ahead.
And coming up in sports, the NCAA's academic evaluations of all Division I schools are out. Find out which teams made the grade and which ones didn't.
Plus your Carolina Week 4-day forecast.
All that and more.
Carolina Week starts now.
From the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, this is Carolina Week.
Hi, and welcome to the March 2nd edition of Carolina Week. I'm Lydia Garlikoff.
And I'm Joe Mott. Tuesday night, droves of students marched to Franklin Street for a demonstration following an attack on a student because of his sexual orientation.
Courtney Robinson is in the newsroom with more. She spoke with the student after the demonstrations. Courtney?
It's been almost a week since a violent hate crime against a gay student happened on Franklin Street. Tuesday night, the Gay, Lesbian, Bisexual, Transgender, Straight Alliance held a speak out. And now the victim, too, is ready to share his story. Hundreds of people with candles and armbands, all gathered for one cause.
We are all in this together. This is one great family of Carolina. Let us stay together.
To show support for 21-year-old Thomas Stockwell, the victim of what police are investigating as a hate crime. Stockwell told Carolina Week his version of what happened on this street corner.
I heard people yelling fag and other sort of derogatory comments. At first I didn't realize that they were talking to me. And then I looked over and they looked angry.
That's when he says he ran.
They caught up to me and turned around and punched me right in the face.
Stockwell suffered a broken nose, bruises, and other injuries. As you can see, only a few were out on Franklin Street tonight, but on Thursday night, many were out. Stockwell is asking why those who were out didn't stop to help him. And one man did say something. Bus driver Tyron Edwards told WTVD he saw the fight and pointed police in Stockwell's direction.
It wasn't a fight, it was a beating, you know. They caught him and beat him. They were punching him and kicking him.
Stockwell says he's not scared. He's tired of being a victim and hopes Tuesday night's Speak Out opens closed minds.
I think as far as the students that are here now, it'll definitely raise some awareness about, you know, it could happen at any time. And if it's going to happen here, then it can happen anywhere else.
Edwards told me he didn't see anyone try to break up the fight, but he did see a young woman try to help Stockwell afterward. He also said there were 3 assailants, not 6 or 7 as previously reported.
Courtney, how does North Carolina deal with hate crimes?
Well, actually, North Carolina doesn't have any hate crime legislation, so if these individuals are caught, they'll face aggravated assault charges. The GLB-TSA passed around petitions to change that Tuesday night.
Courtney Robinson in the newsroom. Thanks, Courtney.
Thanks.
Members of the UNC faculty are accusing higher-level administrators of being disrespectful by holding secret meetings with a potential donor. The faculty members expressed their distrust in a letter to the DTH on Tuesday. The Pope Foundation and the university have been working together to create a Western cultures program in the curriculum. 71 faculty members are speaking out, saying the university negotiated with donors behind their backs. Many professors fear that if the foundation gives to UNC, the Pope family will have curricular control. Provost Robert Shelton says that's not true.
The college dean has had an open forum in which this was discussed, and we absolutely will not accept a gift that puts any constraints on academic freedom here at Carolina.
The 71 faculty members who signed the letter insist that the university stop negotiation with the donors until the administration addresses these concerns. We should point out that there are more than 3,000 faculty members on campus.
Members of student government say they are proud of what they've accomplished in the past year, and they want you to know about it. At Tuesday's State of the University address, student body president Matt Calabria said, although his administration has made a number of improvements to campus life, the tuition issue remains a cause for concern. Other representatives echoed the frustration about the Board of Trustees' decision to raise both out-of-state and athletic fees. Calabria told the modest crowd he was disappointed with the move.
They cast aside the creative and deliberative engine of the university to pass a proposal that only had widespread support amongst themselves. The conservators became the initiators, and students paid as a result. This was the worst thing that happened under my watch.
Calabria praised his administration for its work in bringing students free music downloading, better lighted campus walkways, and establishing the new senior class address. Mo Rocca will kick off that tradition this May. Governor Easley wants to put a freeze on in-state undergraduate tuition, but this would put a wrench in the Board of Trustees' plan. The trustees recommended increases totaling $9.2 million for the coming year, 60% for teacher and TA salaries and 40% for need-based aid. Without the in-state raises, money earmarked for staff will drop from $5.5 million to $2.2 million. University officials hope the lost money for need-based aid will be supplemented from other sources. The loss of these funds could lead to the loss of faculty and fewer classes with more students. The Board of Governors has the final say on the tuition plan.
If you're a student living in university housing and like where you are, now is the time to sign up for next year. It's called recontracting, and there are two ways you can do it. One is to get the online application at Student Central. The other way is to get a paper copy of the application at the housing department located in the Carr building. The application process opens next Tuesday, March 8th at 7 a.m. You'll need both your roommates and your PID. The process ends the next night at 7.
UN Representative and Carolina alum Mark McCarthy knows all about the suffering in Darfur after spending 4 months in the region. The current conflict in the Western Sudan has produced what some call the world's worst humanitarian crisis. Rebels claim the government has ties to Janjaweed, the Arabic group accused of ethnic cleansing in large areas of Africa. The UN has stopped short of classifying the situation as genocide, while an estimated 2 million people have fled their homes. McCarthy's job is to find these refugees so others with the UN can provide necessary food and water.
Gather information about new villages, settlements, and then again, people on the move, large gatherings of displaced people. And we generate maps to try and make sure everyone could find who they were looking for.
McCarthy is heading back to Sudan this Friday. His next leave will be in another 4 months.
Well, the National Hockey cancellation of the league this season.
Some workers in Raleigh are hurting. Coming up, how less work means fewer jobs at the RBC Center.
Where's the whole week? There's no whole week. Hey, excuse me?
Excuse me, sir. Something wrong?
Yeah, there's something wrong. You want to get me some whole wheat? Oh, come on.
Hey, hey, amigo. Hey, I asked you for whole wheat bread. This is not what I wanted. El Wheato.
Sorry for the confusion.
You know, that's the problem with these people. If you want to serve Americans, you got to learn to speak the language. You know what I'm saying?
No, sir. I don't. Enjoy your lunch.
Imagine the power of one voice. Click freedomcenter.org to find yours.
Fans aren't the only ones disappointed about the recent cancellation of the pro hockey season by the NHL.
In Raleigh, the RBC Center and its employees are feeling the effects of that decision. Monumental goals and screaming fans in a packed house. In 2002, when the Carolina Hurricanes won the Eastern Conference and NC State basketball was doing well too, these were frequent sights. But today, with a struggling basketball team and a canceled hockey season, empty seats in the RBC Center are much more common.
This is the end result of the lockout.
General Manager Dave Olson said he anticipated the lockout, so he planned one budget with hockey games and one without. But he said it's still a hard hit to take.
When you take 35% or 40% of your business away, it's real difficult to make that up, especially just in 1 year.
Not only are all the Foot Lockers cleaned out, equipment put up, and nameplates taken down of the Carolina Hurricanes, but many of the employees who maintain these facilities are also out of a job. The lockout forced Olson to lay off 30 full-time employees, from middle management to operations staff. It's their job to replace the NC State hardwood with Hurricanes ice almost every day. But with no hockey on the schedule, this floor hasn't changed since November.
Come on.
Fewer events also means fewer event staff, made up of mostly part-time workers. Though some said they love their jobs, this year has been tough.
Other months it's just kind of like dragging on, and you know, our uniforms sit in our closets. So it's not fun some other months.
The Hurricanes were scheduled to play over 40 games here this season. Only 2 of those dates have been filled by other events. Olson says he's optimistic the players and owners will be able to work out an agreement that would bring hockey back to the RBC Center.
Putting a face on the numbers is how one observer described it. The more than 1,600 pictures of fallen soldiers that line the wall of the Union Gallery are part of a month-long exhibit put on by the Carolina Union Activities Board. Organizers chose the month of March because it marks the 2-year anniversary of the start of the war in Iraq. QAB says it's Carolina's way of remembering our heroes. And in Chapel Hill's African-American photo exhibit, history-making figures are taking center stage. These are the faces of people who shaped Chapel Hill. People like Reginald and Uzell Smith. Their contributions to local schools date back to the early 1940s. You can also read about music groups that gained popularity in the area. Doug Clark and the Hot Nuts were known for their performances at fraternity parties at Duke and here at UNC. Organizers say the idea of featuring people instead of art came up in meetings about renaming Airport Road to Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard.
Based on that decision to make that change, there were also several ideas that came out of that committee that there should be more than just the renaming of a road, that there should be a greater awareness of the history of the Black community here in Chapel Hill.
Both photo exhibits run until late March.
Airport Road will get a new name in about 2 months. This means big changes for both businesses and you. Carolina Week's Sean Maroney has more.
Airport Road will become Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard on May 8th. The name change will affect more than 800 residents and business owners. So what can students who live on Airport Road expect?
Just yesterday I was at the bank trying to order new checks, and they said, well, we can get you a box of checks, but your road name is going to change in 2 months and you'll just have to throw away all the ones you haven't used.
Students like Stella aren't looking forward to the hassle associated with a change of address. Residents of the current Martin Luther King Jr. Road will also have to change their checkbooks, but some say the process won't be a problem.
It's convenient for everybody. All you gotta do is go on the website, punch it up, and put it in, and you don't even have to leave your home.
However, some business owners on Airport Road say they do find this inconvenient and told the Chapel Hill Town Council so.
We did a packet and did 16 small businesses answer the questions of what it was going to cost to do various things.
Nearly $150,000. That's what some business owners along this road say it will cost them. The folks in the Chapel Hill Town Council are trying to reduce the impact.
We realize that this is not going to be the easiest thing for people to go about changing their checkbooks and filling out other change of address forms. That's why we're taking every step we can to try to make it as painless as possible.
These steps include automatic address changes with major utility companies, 1-year mail forwarding, and updating the online directory, MapQuest.com. However, businesses will have to go it alone to absorb the costs associated with the change. In Chapel Hill, I'm Sean Maroney, Carolina Week.
May 8th, the day the change takes place, marks the 45th anniversary of Dr. King's visit to Chapel Hill. The town council members say you shouldn't change your address before this date. Community colleges in North Carolina are giving the state a biotech boost.
The North Carolina Community College system is a front-runner for filling the demand for biomanufacturing workers. The system offers several training programs, including a single-semester course called BioWork, which provides basic skills for biotech workers, an associate's degree program, as well as a company-specific training for people already working in the industry. Once you complete one of the programs, you can get an entry-level job paying about $32,000 to $40,000 a year.
On Thursday, the UNC Department of Psychiatry will offer free confidential screenings for eating disorders. The screenings are being held as part of National Eating Disorders Awareness Week. 10 million women and 1 million men in the U.S. suffer from anorexia or bulimia. Another 25 million people have a binge eating disorder. Anorexia has the highest premature death rate of any mental illness. The average age of female sufferers is between 11 and 15 years old. Hospital researchers hope the screenings will help clear up common myths about eating disorders.
Men are not immune to these disorders. People of various ethnic backgrounds are not immune to these disorders. People of different economic status are not immune to these disorders. We really want to stress this point and also let folks know that they are not to blame.
The screenings will be held at the Student Union on the UNC campus from noon till 4 p.m. Well, Meredith joins us now to talk about some weather.
Meredith, the sun has been out now that after the rain has passed, but it is cold outside.
Yeah, it still feels quite chilly out there, but temperatures have been coming up just a little bit. Now, today on campus, the sun is definitely shining on the quads of Carolina's campus, but the trees are still bare and the wind is blowing. Coming up on your Carolina Week 4-day forecast, I'll tell you where you should expect whether you should expect more chilly days or warm up in store.
200 years ago, Lewis and Clark set out to discover an all-water route to the Pacific. But what they really discovered in themselves and everyone they encountered are qualities we can still learn from today. As we commemorate the Lewis and Clark bicentennial, we invite you to walk with them at lewisandclark200.org and see what you discover, because their trail winds through us all.
Hi, and welcome back to Carolina Week. I'm meteorologist Meredith Croak. Looking at your weather headlines, we do have cool temperatures coming up for this entire week, but it will at least be sunny outside, and there is a chance of a Saturday sprinkle, so not a complete washout for Saturday, but something to keep your eyes out for. Looking at your satellite map now, we're in the clear over North Carolina Wednesday, a beautiful day out there, and it's going to stay nice for the next couple of days, but there are clouds back down to our southwest, and that's going to start to move forward, move eastward over the next couple of days and bring us that chance of some showers on Saturday. But behind that, also clear skies. So once we get through Saturday, it should be clearing up, and Sunday looks like it will be a pretty nice day out there as well. Now, looking at your forecast map, this is giving us an idea of what is actually going on. We're dominated by high pressure, and that high pressure is going to continue to dominate our weather for the next couple of days. So as the system continues to move eastward fairly slowly, behind that, another frontal system. That's going to start to move on in, and that's what's going to give us a chance of some showers on Saturday. But again, behind that system, another high pressure system. So once we get through a few little showers on Saturday, more nice weather coming up, and it looks like we're just going to stay a little bit cooler than normal, but not too cold, so we don't have any really chilly weather in the forecast. Now looking at your Carolina Week 4-day forecast, high on Friday, 51 degrees, lows in the 30s, so very chilly temperatures, evening lows out there. Make sure you bring your jacket as you're going out Friday or Saturday night. Again, on Saturday, just the chance of a sprinkle. Is not going to be a total washout for the whole day, and once we go into Sunday, clearing out again, and right through Monday, it looks like in the long-range forecast going into Monday and Tuesday, could warm up slightly, a little bit more, but then another cool down as we head into the ending of next week. Now, as you're heading out to the beach this weekend, looks like it's going to be a decent day for the beach, and you shouldn't see too many showers on Saturday in the beach. Again, temperatures in the 50s, so pretty nice weather there, and lows only in the 30s. So again, a little bit chilly in the evening hours. The mountains, if you're heading out to the mountains, maybe do some little skiing this weekend, might want to watch out for some rain or snow showers on Saturday. Depends on how warm it gets on Saturday, and the lows should be right around the 30-degree mark with the highs in the 40s. And if you're heading out to do some skiing, they really have great conditions out there with Appalachian Mountain, 9 trails open, 34 to 117-inch base, and groomed conditions. And if you're heading to ski to Sugar Mountain, we have 20 slopes open, a 37 to 67-inch base, and packed powder surfaces. So guys, this is really some of the best skiing weather we've had of the season, and it's pretty surprising because the ski season should be ending in a couple of weeks.
It feels like it should be ending, but we've still got a little bit more time left.
Just a little bit left, so you might want to get out there if you can.
Sounds good. Thank you very much, Meredith.
Well, and with our sports, this is coming into prime time for basketball.
Most definitely. Ski season might still be continuing, but it's basketball time here.
That's right.
March is here. It's very exciting. My favorite month for sports, of
course.
Most likely.
So coming up in Carolina Week Sports, some Blue Devils might say Tar Heel fans aren't hardcore because they don't camp out. One thing's for sure, don't blame this Tar Heel fan.
She kicked us out. She called the cops. Cops came and said, pretty much, this lady is the head of the Dean Dome, and we had to leave. We're not allowed to camp out before the Florida State game.
I'm not stupid. I'm not lazy. I'm not distracted. I'm not slow. I'm not dumb.
Millions of kids have learning difficulties and are struggling in school. Without help, they could suffer the rest of their lives. If your child is struggling, visit FocusOnLearning.org. Do it for your child, do it for yourself, but do it now.
I'm not dumb. I'm smart.
Okay, here's a little pop quiz for you. Name any Oscar winner. Name one character from a Hollywood film. Easy, right? Oh, one more question. Name one character your kid learned about in English class.
Know what really matters. Know about your kid's school, and know about your kid. Find out 100 ways to know more, do more.
Welcome back to Carolina Week Sports. I'm Ann Sexton, and here's hoping my grades this semester turn out better than those of many Division I schools. That's because students aren't the only ones getting graded nowadays. The NCAA released its own report card this week, grading the academic progress of the student athletes at every university. Of the 328 Division I schools, about half have at least one team that could risk losing scholarships next season. Under the NCAA's guidelines, teams are graded on a 1,000-point scale. All teams are expected to score a 925 or better and can lose points when athletes transfer, drop out, leave early for the professional ranks, or become academically ineligible. Carolina's overall score was relatively high at 970 and had 7 teams with perfect scores, including men's basketball, field hockey, and volleyball. The only Tar Heel squads with grades lower than 925 were the wrestling and men's golf teams, but those teams won't be penalized as their scores are expected to rise. The baseball team had no problem making the grade, but would that be enough to keep their perfect record? The skies were Carolina blue, and the wind was blowing hard early Wednesday as UNC took on visiting Gardner-Webb. The Bulldogs jumped out early lead off this 2-run single, but Heels pitcher Robert Woodard, he kept it close with 2 strikeouts in the first inning. Will all scouts please raise your radar guns? UNC bounced back after a stolen base, there he goes, a botched rundown, and a 2-run double. It tied the score at 2. The Heels may be undefeated on this season, but are in a bit of trouble right now. In the bottom of the 8th, the Heels trail Gardner-Webb 5-4 after a Carolina error led to the Bulldogs' go-ahead 5th run. The men's basketball team is hotter right now than it's been a long, long time, and there's major buzz about Sunday's rematch with arch-rival Duke. So, some fans with riser tickets wanted to get a head start and started camping out Monday night for Sunday's game. Senior Brian Lassane told us camping out with friends for risers was more than worth it until Smith Center staff told them they had to leave.
Risers are amazing, but I feel like if you're not in the front row, it's really not worth it. You might as well just be you might be sitting in the lower level. I feel like if you're gonna be in the lower level, you might as well be in the front row. You might as well do it right. It's my last home game ever, so I feel like we had to go all out. So we were just like, all right, we get a head start, and then this lady comes and she pretty much says, we're making a new policy today that you cannot camp out for 2 games in advance. Like she said, the logistical reasons and like fire safety rules.
Well, while some fans might already be thinking ahead to Duke, the men's team knows it cannot look past Florida State. While the easy Carolina W at January's matchup might seem like a prediction for Thursday's game, FSU's 17-point comeback proves the Seminoles have the drive to test the Heels using the 3-point shot. Jackie Manuel and the defense are going to have to be on the watch for sharpshooters Von Wafer and Diego Romero, whose threes pulled the Noles within 1 last time. And with Rashad McCants questionable for the game, seems like Dave Noel and the Heels bench will have to keep up the tempo that's helped Carolina shut down the past 2 opponents. Carolina basketball is on the minds of sports writers across the nation. UNC senior Nikita Bell is the 2005 ACC Defensive Player of the Year, and men's basketball head coach Roy Williams is a finalist for the Naismith Award, which annually recognizes the most outstanding college basketball coach of the year. While the men's team is trying to finish out the season strong, the women will go to the ACC tournament as the #1 seed for the first time in 8 years. The Lady Tar Heels face a few barriers on their road to a conference championship. Duke, led by guard Monique Curry, will be another tough matchup for UNC. Center Allison Bales poses an offensive and defensive obstacle for the Heels. NC State is also a difficult matchup, and the Heels narrowly swept past the pack twice this season. This girl, guard Ashley Key, will be a key player for the Heels to stop on offense. To have a shot at the title, the ladies must bring their A game. The Heels will face the winner of the Georgia Tech and Miami game on Saturday at noon. This year's tournament will be held in Greensboro and marks the first time the Tar Heels claim the top seed since the 1996-97 season. The tournament will also feature 2 additional games on Friday, as Miami and Virginia Tech compete in their first ACC women's basketball tournament. Well, all I have to say for Virginia Tech and Miami, welcome to the ACC. It's going to be pretty tough.
That's right. We got some interesting things coming up in women's and men's basketball.
Most definitely.
Thank you very much.
Well, coming up next, we'll show you some Duke doctors getting into some monkey business.
Why monkeys like these might provide some insight into a mysterious medical condition.
Is it mice?
Nope.
Rats?
Nope.
Hogs?
That's right, miss.
Hogs?
Energy hogs. If you're wasting energy, you'll find one in your home.
Got energy hogs in your house? Now you have the power to do something about them. Log on to energyhog.org.
Hey, let me go. In your dreams, Porky.
Because nobody likes an energy hog.
If you have a story idea, contact Carolina Week at 843-8292. You can also visit us online at carolinaweek.org. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNCCH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, 27599.
More babies are being born with autism each year, and doctors are searching for ways to help them cope better in society. As Carolina Week's Dan Casuto reports, doctors are turning to unlikely helpers in that effort.
One of the most popular ads from this year's Super Bowl showed a monkey kissing another monkey's, you know. Although the monkeys in this ad can't seem to get down to business, Dr. Michael Platt at Duke University is using monkeys for a whole different line of work. Monkey social behavior might hold the key to unlock the mysteries of autism in humans. Dustin Hoffman's character in Rain Man was sometimes violent, sometimes almost comatose, and never really in touch with other people. That's common for autistics. Dr. Platt wants to know why, so he showed monkeys pictures to test a normally functioning brain. Sometimes he showed them what a monkey might consider sexy, like a female's backside, or a monkey's face, usually one who's popular and strong in the group. Then the researchers started bribing the monkeys with fruit juice. They wanted to see if the monkeys actually cared what they were looking at, or if they'd give up fruit juice to see any pictures.
We didn't need to pay them much juice at all to look at the hindquarters of females. We don't know whether they're really considering them as images or whether they see that as actually there's an individual over there, a real live female.
The monkeys surprised the researchers by also giving up juice to stare at the faces of other, stronger male monkeys. Dr. Platt says the submissive males were trying to keep tabs on the dominant males, what they're thinking, how they're feeling, and who they're mating with. Researchers think autistics like Rain Man, living in their own world, wouldn't care about that.
Many autistics find it difficult, or they don't actually engage in looking other people in the eye.
The monkeys' choices are helping Dr. Platt analyze a healthy brain. Eventually, that might help him understand a brain affected by autism, even if the monkeys are a little silly in the office sometimes. In Durham, I'm Dan Casuto, Carolina Week.
Dan is finding some very interesting stories over at Duke. That is just fascinating.
That is, and it seems like they're doing really important work. I've been out to the Carolina Living and Learning Center, and it surely is important work.
It definitely is. Well, that does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thanks so much for joining us. Have a good evening.
Good night.